Hey, what's up? So it's been a minute, and yeah, I've been like busy with work, with my political channel, and all of the infamy that I'm getting from there. Also from just planning and trying to make moves, from pushing myself to accomplish my own goals. Like, I've just been like hitting the ground running, and I'm super tired. Like, I had my graveyard shift last night, and then stayed up all morning basically to do chores, because that's also what I've also been doing, is doing chores like a fucking mad person. Like, I've just been cleaning every day nonstop for the past 2 weeks. Like, my name's Cinderella. It's not a fucking joke, man. It's not a joke, but either way, I'm good. But I did want to put out a video because I haven't in a while, and there is something that I really need to talk about that needs to be discussed, and that's Prop 64. Before I get into that, I have to spark up. I regret voting for Prop 64. I honestly do, and it's one of those things that, looking back in time, you know, with hindsight, I should have known that there was going to be a catch-22 to having the state legalize recreational weed. And, like, what do I mean by that? Honestly, because I've had my rec for, I just renewed my rec for the first time a few months ago. So I'm on my second rec. So I've had it for like a year, almost a year and a half. And it was so much better before weed was recreationally legalized. Like, it was so much better. There was dispensaries like in every fucking neighborhood. It was super low key. You had tons of options. Like, don't get me wrong, like, there was dispensaries that was serving like some bullshit ass weed, but there was also some that had some dank ass buds, and they also had some for like the low, like really great prices. And that's something about marijuana that actually matters a fucking lot. It turns out, is how much it is. Like, if the marijuana is priced out of my budget, then what good is it to me as like a medical patient? And I feel like that's another group that is getting excluded from this whole Prop 64 debacle. Like, if you look up the taxes for it, which I have, and then also I got like a local weed magazine that had a little like article about it. But basically, for recreational users, they have to pay 30% tax. But for medical users, with just your rec, you have to pay like 22%. And then if you get your like state issued medical marijuana card, but then you get like you only get to pay like 15% tax. But either way, that's a lot. Like, that's a lot. Like, why is it 15% tax? When California knows goddamn well people are gonna be buying weed for decades to come. There's not gonna be a fucking shortage from the revenue that's generated from it. Why does it feel like the state is basically like, okay, well, if you fucking potheads want your weed, here you go, and like they're fucking us. Like, they're literally butt fucking us, while at the same time acting as if they're giving us this privilege, you know, and that sucks. Like, it's almost like Like, I regret it. Like I said, I would fucking regret it. And then another awful fucking reason why like Prop 64 has just bothered me to the bone is that there's been multiple, like handfuls of articles that have been written about a bunch, like thousands of small businesses that have been pushed out of the industry that they've been a part of since the medical marijuana industry became a thing here in the state. Like, it's growers, it's people who make edibles, it's dispensaries, it's literally any marijuana entity, any marijuana retailer that can't afford all the different permits and all the different fucking fees associated with it, then you can't be a part of the fucking business that you fucking were a part of laying the foundation. And can we also talk about the racism that is involved with anti-pot laws and how black people, like the black community, we fucking love pot. Why the fuck can't we even get involved in actually fucking selling it? Like, I would love to own a fucking dispensary, but you know what? You know how much them shits is? Do you understand how much it is to have a fucking permit? And that's already if you're in business and shit and you already have thousands of dollars of revenue to put forward. In fact, my go-to favorite dispensary fucking got closed. It closed permanently after getting raided twice in the span of like 6 months. I'm so fucking like, I'm upset. I'm really, really, really upset because they got raided the first time and then they fucking took a weekend or whatever. They took about a week, and I thought they got their shit together because they sent out a text saying that they're reopened and they're open for recreational sales, so you know, it's all good. But then it was like a couple of weeks after that they fucking got like raided again, and it's just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I don't get it. Like, is it the fucking feds? Is this the state? Like, I guarantee it's the state trying to crack down and enforce their marijuana laws, but fuck, man, like, really? Like, you have nothing better to do. Like, you can't fucking, like, nothing better to do, really nothing better but to shut down fucking dispensaries with great bud at great prices. I'm fucking pissed. And I'm taking that shit mad personal because you know what? When I got off of work last night, I had to take my ass all the way to fucking Chula Vista, and that was not fun. That was not fun. And then I don't even want to, I don't even want to put the dispensary on blast, but I'm halfway positive that some of the shit that I got has been soaked with Coca-Cola. I'm gonna make a video about that specifically because that's really common and it's really shitty, and it's a cheap way for growers to try to make their bud seem more dank than what it really is, and it's fucked up and it's terrible. And I would have assumed that weed being legal would stop this bullshit from happening, but instead it just feels like they're going after the good dispensaries. All the shady dispensaries, they're still operating because guess what? They're not trying to comply with the law to begin with, so they're still serving up their shitty ass weed, and medical patients are either stuck paying high ass weed bills, or like me, we're just stuck with the shitty shit, I guess. And that's not cool, you know. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm not gonna be stuck with this shitty shit for long. Like, I'm gonna figure out whatever the fuck I have to do, but this is fucked up. Like, and I'm just worried because it's like I have options. Like, thankfully I have options. I can save up my money, you know, I can invest in like a delivery service. But what about the people who can't? Like, what about the 18-year-old medical patient who is living with their parents and their parents don't even like them smoking weed, and they may or may not have a car, so, and they may or may not have a fucking job. Like, to fucking make marijuana like something so social and just pure-hearted and good as marijuana to be inaccessible to the people who need it most is beyond fucked up. It's awful. It's fucking atrocious. And if I could go back in time and tell myself, like, don't vote for this shitty ass proposition, because if you do, it'll fuck up so many people's lives in this state, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it. And I feel like California really could have gone around, and I really feel like California could have really gone about this in a much better way that could have either A, given a lot of these businesses time to come up with the fucking money, because starting a business out here is just mad expensive, and that's where the conservative part of me like comes out. Like, why do I have to pay the state so much money just to start a fucking business? Like, I'm trying to be an entrepreneur and to create jobs. Like, why do I have to pay you so much just to do that? Like, that's literally creating an environment where most of the jobs come from corporations. And this video is not going to go into how shitty corporations is. Actually, yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Let's go there. Because now, another effect of this fucking shitty ass proposition is these corporations are now about to dominate marijuana culture here in the States. Fuck that. Like, fuck that. Fuck all of that. You know what? Like, it's cool that there's like this segment of pot smokers who want to be professional and they want to like elevate it and, you know, make it a luxury product that, you know, doesn't have that stigma. Like, I get it. Like, that's super awesome. You're doing your own marijuana activism. It's not wrong, you know, like, it's needed, and that's fantastic. But at the same time, why do we have to erase like the hippies that have been a part of this fucking movement forever? Like, why do we have to get rid of the dirty, musty hippies who fucking been protesting for this shit, man? You know, who like they are just a part of this marijuana culture as anybody else, and I can't, like, it's not right to see them go and to see them basically getting pushed out. It's mad fucked up. Mad fucked up. And if there ever was a better reason to make marijuana accessible, besides, you know, the racist history of the drug war and anti-pot laws, besides all that, is the opioid and spice epidemic that is just rampaging the fucking country. For that opioid stuff, you know, there are articles that states with legalized marijuana have a huge decrease in opioid related incidences. It truly feels like, because one common drug among drug users is marijuana, and I feel like that's why it gets inappropriately labeled as a gateway drug. No, like, it doesn't lead to other drugs. It's just that people who use other drugs also smoke pot, and I think it's because pot is just literally that harmless. you can pair it up with any other drug, and the crossfades is... But yeah, opioids, that shit fucks you up. It rots you from the inside out. It's really sad and terrible that so many Americans are hooked on that shit. And especially how... Was it formaldehyde? Or it's some type of fucked up chemical that's in it. And I just, my heart goes out to people who are affected by this crisis. It's fucked up that we're under an administration who doesn't give a fuck about drug users, and who, you know, they don't want to treat drug users like patients who need to be treated for their illness. And that's always sad. And then the spice shit. Okay, let me tell you guys about spice. So, once when I was a wee little lass, me and my friends ran out of weed and we had no money, and one of our friends suggested to smoke some spice. And it looked like potpourri. You know, it comes in like a little shallow little glass pot, and you load it up in a bowl, and it was like 3 or 4 of us, and we each took a hit, and we were just like baked, like done, like just one hit and we were like good, you know. And the high is really similar to weed, but it's more intense, and it's just different. It's similar, but it's different. Like, it reminds you of being high off of weed, but it's definitely not a mellow body high. If anything, it's like a super intense head high. And I remember after we smoked it, it was just like, we didn't like it. We just hated it. Like, the taste is awful, the smell is awful, it's just gross. And you know, I've never wanted to smoke it ever again. That could be because I lived in California where weed was accessible, but yeah, like, it's fucked up that so many teenagers are dying and going to the hospital over smoking that bullshit. And I was reading some articles, and they were saying that there was rat poison in spice. Like, there's rat poison in like certain batches of the shit that these kids are smoking, and it's causing them to bleed like out of their eyes and out of their nose and mouth and shit. Like, just their body starts leaking blood, and it's just like, could this all be fucking prevented if weed was decriminalized at least? Like, why do people literally have to die, suffer, and go to jail just because politicians are being stubborn as fuck? Like, honestly, I'm past over it. Like, here is over it, and I'm like up here. Like, I'm so done. Like, throw the whole government away, throw the whole state away until they can get their shit together, because this is one issue that would affect a lot of different people in a much more positive way. And the state of California just has issues properly handling issues like homelessness, like rent, because there's another article saying how the rent in San Diego has doubled over the same time period as like the rest of the country, where they just have like single digit increases. We have double digit. It's just like, if it wasn't already hard enough to live here, you know, if there was only one good fucking reason to stay here in California, besides the awesome taco shops, because you will never find bomb-ass Mexican food in the rest of the country. Like, no. But besides that, it was definitely the bomb-ass weed. Like, I've literally had people come here from Texas and smoke our weed, and just they can't handle it. Like, they get strung off their like they literally, like their bloodshot eyes, baked, like mouth agape, drooling, you know, like it was something for us to be proud of. And for me to travel around not just the country, but I would hope eventually the world, and to be able to say, like, I'm a California stoner, like I grew up smoking the best and the dankest of buds, and I grew up among a culture of pot smoking veterans, like I regret aiding and abetting in the proposition that might topple that beautiful legacy all the way down. And I have to reconcile with that. You know, I fucked up. I fucked up. It's on me as the voter. And I even remember there were some people saying not to vote for it, and how there were some independent growers who were against it. But, you know, I fucked up. And I want to say I'm sorry, but I don't know who to apologize to. Like myself? Should I apologize to myself? Should I apologize to, like, the medical patients, just the stoners of the state? Like, it was my bad. And it really goes to show how, like, with politics, man, we have to be vigilant, and we have to constantly be aware what these bitches are doing with our tax dollars. So, if anything, it's just gonna encourage me to stay up to date on marijuana politics here in the state. So, anyway, I am exhausted, and I'm tired of hearing my own self speak, so I'm gonna, probably go to sleep and then get ready for my shift later tonight. So I do thank you guys for watching, and I'm gonna keep smoking. Bless you.